Hey, and welcome to the Chef's Table, a weekly video series for culinary entrepreneurs who want to monetize their skills outside of the kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Evelyn. This is the place for successful women who want to live, cook, and work on their own terms. So if that's you, let's get started. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Chef's Table. I'm your host, Chef Evelyn, and this is a video series for women chefpreneurs who want to build high-end culinary brands with multiple streams of income. So I'm excited to be coming to you with another video in this series about building a high-end culinary brand. I'm super excited. If you've missed the last two videos or any of my previous videos, make sure you check out this playlist where I have tons of videos about helping you build your chef business, creating multiple streams of income, whether you are a career changer, leaving corporate, wanting to go into the culinary field, whether you've been in the culinary industry for a long time and you kind of want to step out on your own, or if you're just getting started or if you're already in business and you're like, I need to be doing things a little bit differently, this is the place for you to come and hang out. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't been here before, right? You've already listened to me ramble, so you already know that you're here to stay, and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss these weekly training videos. And if you have been here before, well, I just want to say welcome back. It's good to see you again, and I hope that you really enjoy this video. So in my previous couple of videos, I kind of, talked about like why this is the year that you really need to build a high-end culinary brand. And then I really went into detail about what a high-end culinary brand is and what a high-end culinary brand is not, because I know I talk about that a lot, and that's kind of a term that I've coined myself. I haven't heard anyone else talk about a high-end culinary brand. So I really kind of wanted to break down what a high-end culinary brand was and what it's not, so that there wasn't any confusion as we go through. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check out the two previous videos before this one to get yourself caught up. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 signs that you might need a high-end culinary brand, because one of the things I mentioned in my previous videos is that there's all types of brands out there, and any of those brands or any level of brand can be successful. Whether you want a Walmart / McDonald's type level brand where it's lower prices, those are multi-billion-dollar brands, right? So you can be successful. Whether you want a Target, Chipotle mid-level brand, or whether you want a higher level brand, whatever you choose, those things can be successful. But what we talk about over here on this channel is high-end culinary brands. So I want to give you 5 things that you can kind of say, if this relates to you, that you might want to consider creating a high-end culinary brand. And if you've been here before, I keep my notes with me. So if you see me looking down, I've got my notes here, because like I said, this year I really want to make sure that I'm not just adding more noise to the internet, that you're really getting some value out of what I'm sharing, and I'm not just on here talking, because I don't have time for that and you don't have time for that, right? So I really want to make sure that these trainings are valuable to you, and you can decide whether or not a high-end culinary brand is a good fit for you. But I think I might walk down your street in this video. So hold on to your edges, clutch your pearls, okay? Because this one is like, it's not an edge snatch, but if you've experienced these things and you did not enjoy these things, then, or you're tired of these things, then this may be an indication that you are ready, or past due, might I add, for a high-end culinary brand. And so the first one is probably the most common one, right? Which is, you have had clients try to negotiate your rate. Let me give you an example. I had this happen to me several times, and then I was just like, you know what? I just am not going to deal with those kind of people. And I did the necessary changes to rebrand myself so that I wouldn't even attract those kind of people. There are things you can do to keep those people away, okay? But I had clients who were like, oh, I want 75 people for my birthday party, poolside, outside, in the Texas heat in August, which is like 110 degrees, legit, no exaggeration, with past hors d'oeuvres. I don't want buffet anything, but my budget is $25 a person. Excuse me? Or the clients who are like, oh, they get your rate, they get your proposal, they get your quote, and they're like, well, what if I buy the food? And then what if I have my family serve it? And what if that's not how this works. Okay. So if you have had the experience of people wanting to negotiate your rates or want to talk you down out of certain things or want to piecemeal your invoices and your proposal apart, you're probably not sending the right message with your brand and your marketing, and you're drawing the people who think that they can do that to you. What I can tell you right now is I don't get those kind of people. I had a lady tell me one time a couple of years ago, because I don't even do those kind of events anymore, but she was recommended by a previous client. So typically, if somebody is recommended to me from a previous client, right? Like I really, value that somebody would refer me and my services. So I'm open to doing those things on very special occasions, right? And so I sent her through my process of just how to like book a conversation with me, right? And just the conversation, just the questions that I was asking her. She knew very quickly that her budget would not accommodate my services before I ever gave her a price, right? And so she kind of gracefully bowed out. But like normally I wouldn't have even attracted that kind of person because of the way that I've established my business and my services, right? So even now, whether it's my cooking classes in person or virtual, whether it's my coaching or consulting services, like people know I'm not the budget person, right? Like I can't tell you how to build a high-end culinary brand and luxury brand and be charging bargain basement prices on anything that I do. That would be incongruent, right? But so the first point is, let me like I'm going down a rabbit hole here. The first point is that you've had people try to negotiate your rates. When it comes to even my coaching clients, people do not try to negotiate my rates. The price is the price. They understand the value that they're getting. And so the thing about a high-end culinary brand is there is a way from the moment people first encounter your brand to start communicating that you're going to have to drop some coins off over here if you're going to work with me, right? So that it doesn't make it a shock or a surprise or awkward when they actually get the invoice, okay? So the second thing, or the second sign that you may need a high-end culinary brand, is less about the clientele. It's more about you. You might be in a position where you have a lot of ideas, that there's a lot of things that you want to do, and you've been chasing your tail, spinning in circles, like, where do I start? How do I do it all? I'm just one person. How do I put it all together? How much do I charge? Does this make sense? Can I do that? Will people really buy that? Like your brain is just like running on a hamster wheel, because you're like, I have so many ideas and so many things I want to do and so many things to incorporate, and I want to do this and I want to do that and da 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 da. And that, here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But that can be stressful. It can keep you up at night. It can keep you from taking action. And what you need is what I like to call a container that's big enough, right? You need a box that's big enough, aka a brand, a business is big enough that can house all those ideas, but house them in a strategic and harmonious way. How do all these things fit together? How do I make it work? How do I not confuse my clientele and my customers? Because I have so many ideas and I have so many options, how do I charge for that, right? What will it take for people really to pay me what I think I'm worth? Like you already know that you don't want to do low prices. You already know that you don't want a bargain brand. Again, nothing wrong with bargain brands. They make money. High-end culinary brands over here, right? But you've already decided that you don't want to do that. It's just that you've got all these ideas and you can't really figure out like how to make it all work together and where to start and what's the first thing to lead with. And then it's like, well, how do I find clients? And so you end up jumping back and forth and you're doing all these things. Listen, you probably need a high-end culinary brand. You probably need some coaching and some strategy to help you. I call it like untangling the necklaces. You ever have those necklaces that have the really thin chain and they ever get tangled up and it's like, oh my gosh, you're spending all your time trying to like pull them apart and separate them out. You need somebody to help you with that, with your thoughts and your ideas, because they're all valuable and they're probably all extremely profitable, but you need the framework of a high-end culinary brand to be able to hold the weight of the ideas that you have. So that's the second thing. If you got a lot of ideas and you don't know how to put them all together, probably a sign that you need a high-end culinary brand. Okay. Here's the third thing, right? You could already be in business, but you're capped out at your current client load. Meaning, let's say if you're a personal chef, your calendar is completely booked and you're like, how do I make more money? Like, I've got my 10 clients every 2 weeks. I've got them on, a 90-day contract. They're renewing. I'm making money, but like, how do I give myself a raise, right? How do I have to take on more clients? Do I have to work an extra day of the week? Do I have to work longer days? Like, what do I do to be able to generate more income when my calendar or my client load is completely full, right? So like, you're making decent money, you're making good money. You're just like, I don't know how to get off the hamster wheel of kind of being stuck at this rate with a full client load. So if you've been looking for a solution to that, you probably need a high-end culinary brand, because if you haven't watched my video about what a high-end culinary brand is and what it is not, one of the things I do talk about is one of the features of a high-end culinary brand is that there is multiple streams of income, right? That there are income streams. Some of them are online if you want that to be a part of your business, which I recommend. And then there's also features where you can make money when you're not working, right? So that if you want to go on vacation, if you just don't want to work 5 days a week, I don't work 5 days a week. If you don't want to work 12-hour days, I don't even work 8-hour days. If you were to get sick or something was to happen. I remember when I got diagnosed with cancer and I couldn't work, I had other income streams that I could lean on while I was recovering and going to treatment, right? Whether a worldwide situation happens and it closes your business temporarily, and you need another way to keep income coming into your household, like, any of those things is a reason why you need to have multiple streams of income. And so, I've said this before, I think there's some amazing people probably teaching culinary entrepreneurship all over the internet. I don't necessarily follow them because I've already got my own business. I've got my own lane here. But what I have seen in the past when I was searching for things, when I was getting started, was that it was very like one-dimensional, and it wasn't showing me how to make money in multiple ways based on my skill set as a culinarian. And it definitely wasn't showing me how to make it all work together and also make money while I'm asleep and online. So if you've maxed out your current client load, if you got all these catering contracts, you're doing all the dinner parties, or maybe you're a food blogger and you're like, listen, I can only make so many recipes, I can only do so many brand partnerships a month, whatever the case may be, chances are you need multiple streams of income. So that's probably the third sign that you need a high-end culinary brand. And you need the framework on how to put it all together, right? Like how, and then also how to make space for that. Because if you are working like that and you're working a lot and your client load is full, it's like, when do I fit that in? So that's a sign. Okay, the fourth thing, number 4. Okay, the fourth sign that you need, or it's time, or you may want to even just consider having a high-end culinary brand is, listen, I'm going to come closer. You're overwhelmed and you're exhausted. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you're not working 7 days a week. Great. But you are burnt out. Maybe you're working 5 days a week and business is booming and you're making great money and you're exhausted. You're tired. You're doing all the things. You're wearing all the hats. You're being all the people. Okay? And you're just like, if I stop, then this train stops, then the money stops, right? And maybe you even got a few people working for you, right? And that gives you a little bit of breathing room, but you're just like, listen, whether you want to date and get married and you're like, I'm always working, whether you have already started a family and you're like, I want to spend time with my kids, and the days and the weeks and the month and the years are just going by and you're like, I have got to do something different. Whether you have been working in another aspect of the culinary field and making really great money, but you don't have no life, you know what I'm saying? Then that is probably one of the biggest indications that you need a high culinary brand. A lot of my clients come to me when they're just freaking exhausted. They're burnt out. It's like, I love food. I love this industry. I want to do this, but I can't keep this up long term. Like, I got to be able to have some breathing room. I need some margin. I need some space. I need to be able to live. Like, I don't want to live my life in the kitchen. Like, I love it, but come on, right? So that is probably, for me, it was one of the biggest pain points. I had already left corporate America where I didn't have control over my time. And then I spent a little bit of time working for people in the culinary industry. And I quickly learned, I was like, I don't want to work nights, weekends, and holidays. I don't want to be here 60, 70 hours a week. I don't want to have to ask permission to take off, right? Like if I just want to take a day off, I don't want to only have 2 or 3 at best 4 weeks of vacation. Like there's 52 weeks in the year. You're telling me I can only take off 4? Like, that, what? And by the time, and then let me tell you if you experienced this. You ever go on vacation and you were so exhausted from like leading up to vacation that it took the first couple of days for you to just to decompress, right? Then by the time you decompressed and started actually enjoying your vacation, you looked and you realized you only had like a day or two left and it was time to start preparing to go back to work, right? And then you're like, okay, well, let me go ahead and start checking my email, or let me go ahead and start doing this, because you know that if you don't get ahead of it, it's going to be a mess. And so you end up cutting your vacation short and you start working early. Been there, done that. Clear sign. Ding, 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 ding. You probably need a high-end culinary brand. And then listen, you can even feel that way in your own business. I remember I was working like that at one point in time, and it's just like I just felt like I was on this hamster wheel and I could never catch my breath, right? That I was just going. And I was exhausted. So, it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way. You can have a brand that you love that allows you to rest, vacation, take care of yourself, spend time with your family and friends, in your hobbies. Yes, you love food, but there's other things that you enjoy, whether you want to be with your kids, girl, whether you want to date. You know what I'm saying? I remember at one point in time, I was dating, but I was working full-time in culinary. Well, I was at work every night, and then I had to work the weekends. Doesn't make for an exciting dating life, right? So for my single chef ladies out there, this doesn't work. I have clients who are married and they're like, I want to be at home with my kids and with my spouse, right? Like, they're growing up, like, I don't want to miss it, okay? Then it's time to build a high-end culinary brand. So you need to get yourself the formula, the blueprint to be able to do that. And that's one of the things I help my clients with. So the fifth and final sign, and there may be other signs, but we're just going to do 5 today for the sake of time. The fifth sign that you need a high-end culinary brand is your reality is not matching up with what you see in your head. And let me tell you what I mean. You know that you're probably the best at what you do. Guaranteed. You probably know you're the best. You probably know, and if you don't think that you're the best, you know that you're at the top. You look at other people and you're like, I don't know how they're cooking like that, working like that, being like that, creating content like that, whatever, and having the kind of brand that they have, when you know how good you are, but it doesn't feel like your income or your business experience or your job compensation is reflecting your true value. And so you're just like, something's missing. Like, I know that I'm good. I know that I'm smart. Like, I know that I can cook. Like, I know that I can do the things. And you're putting in the work and it's just not working the way you thought it would. It's not looking like the way you thought it would. It's not feeling the way you thought it would feel. Right? So you're just kind of like, what do I do? And here's the thing. You may be operating in a brand level that's not congruent to who you really are, or not congruent with your skill set, right? So for example, we've all heard of the brand Hermes, right? They make the really expensive purses or the really high priced purses, right? They also make cosmetics. If I saw one of their products in Walmart, I'd be confused, right? And I probably, even though I knew the brand, even if it was like on sale, the first thing I'd probably think is, well, this is fake. And then I'd probably think, if it wasn't fake, that it was something was defective or wrong with it, because I would know the quality of the product and I would know the reputation of the brand. But why is it in Walmart? No knock on Walmart, but I'd be confused because it'd be out of place, right? Like, the container, the location, the package that it is in is incongruent with the quality of the product, right? And so the same thing could be happening to you. You could have this amazing skill set. You could have this amazing idea or this amazing experience that you offer your clients, but the package that you've put it in, the brand that you've put it in, is incongruent. And so people are confused, right? If you see a Birkin, and I'm not into I don't know what's happening with the Birkin conversation. I don't know nothing about that. That's not what we talk about over here. But if you see a Birkin at Walmart, you're going to be like, girl, that's not real. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be like, that's fake. Because it's in the wrong location. The pricing's off. The marketing is off. You're going to be confused. And so if you've had that experience where you're like, I know I'm good. I know I'm amazing. Like, let's be real. At home, you'd be like, I'm the best. I know you say these things to yourself. I've said these things to myself for my particular area of expertise, right? Like, you're the best. if your brand wasn't reflecting that, or is not reflecting that, or your prices or your service or your clientele or your reality or your experience or your job or your salary or your wages or whatever, if it's not reflecting what you know to be true on the inside without sounding all woo woo, then high time you need a high-end culinary brand. So those are the 5 signs that you need a high-end culinary brand. It could be that your clientele wants to negotiate your prices, or you're just drawing the wrong type of clientele who doesn't really understand the value that you provide and the experience that you provide. It could also be you have a lot of ideas, but you don't know how to put them all together. You don't know how all work together and what to do, right? It could also be that you've capped out with your current client load or your current amount of gigs, and it's just like, what do I do next, right? Could be that you're making phenomenal money, but you're exhausted, you're burnt out, you're tired, and you're like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to do this. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to keep this up. Or it could be that it's like, you know that you're like really good at what you do, but your reality is not reflecting that, right? So those are the 5 signs that you might need a high-end culinary brand. Let me know which one of those or which few of those feels like that relates to you, and what you're gonna do about it this year in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Now, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you never miss a new episode. And to see what I'm cooking up behind the scenes, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook as Chef Evelyn. That's all for today, and I'll see you next week. Peace.